Hello, my lovely Chocolate Labs. It's me, Chocolate Lab 1.96, and I have probably the greatest idea that I could probably ever come up with, and it is so gosh darn amazing that no one has come up with it before. I am a genius. So what this idea is, you have your model horse customizing tutorials. You have those. You have putting makeup on a model horse. So then I thought, why not customize a model horse using makeup? So I have a whole bunch of drugstore products because I'm not using my expensive products because one, they're expensive, and two, they're expensive. So I just got a lot of drugstore stuff here that I will be using to paint this model horse. I have this horse here. I'm thinking a bay. That sounds the most easiest. So he's gonna be a bay. Gonna try to figure out how to do a bay horse with matte eyeshadows and stuff. So that's gonna be exciting, and no one has ever come up with this before. I am the first one, so if you feel inspired, you're welcome. It's all because of me, Chocolate Lab 1496. So how I'm thinking I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna put a layer of color, and then I'm gonna use setting spray to set it down, and then put another layer, and then another, and then up until he's finished. Now I don't have any white makeup, so if he's gonna want any white markings or whatever, it's gonna have to be through white paint. I do have a very gloopy, liquidy mascara that I could probably paint the mane and tail with. And then I'm only going to be using matte eyeshadows, nothing with any shimmer or anything, because we want it to look as realistic as what I can try to get it to. What's more accessible, makeup at a drugstore or earth pigments from online? Makeup. So if this works, I've probably created a revolution in the model horse community. Let's get started. I'm going to start off by saying that this is not a tutorial. It's just a challenge that I set upon myself on customizing a model horse using makeup. In the first clips, I'm just priming the horse with some white paint. The white paint, I expected it to be really, really thin and not very opaque, but as it dried down, it became very opaque. I didn't use makeup for this because I wanted the primer to just be what it was, a primer, and I wanted it to be white. Alright, so I have my horse right here. I'm gonna try my hardest to keep him in frame. I have all the makeup products right here. For this, I'm thinking I'm just gonna use paintbrushes. No particular reason. Just fluffy paintbrushes and stuff like that. Paintbrushes that will most likely pick up the pigments. I'm not sure what will work the best, so I'm just gonna use it all. That sounds great. So I was thinking maybe doing a buckskin or a bay for this horse, depending how the color goes, or maybe just a light bay. I don't think I'm gonna get that really pretty red bay that you see in a lot of horses, so maybe just a lighter bay, a horse on the lighter side. I could maybe get something like this. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so I guess for the red palette, or the horse coloring, I might just have to use the shadows out of this one. Maybe, I don't know. I think a buckskin might be more achievable. Change of plans. Instead of a bay, it's gonna be a buckskin. Yeah, that definitely looks way more doable than a bay. So we're gonna do a buckskin. This buckskin, I do have colors that look somewhat close to that. So thinking we're gonna start with this color here. I had my reference picture and I just set it out for this horse to become a bay, but that didn't work out because I didn't have any red tones, so I just went in and made it a buckskin by layering on this cream color that I had in this one makeup palette, and all I used were matte shadows. When doing this, I did come across many challenges, which will show up later on in the video. I did switch between different paintbrushes because the stiff ones worked the best. So, and I am using a makeup setting spray because I want it to stay, you know, within the makeup region. So that's that. Let's hope it turns out okay. All right. I forgot to do check-ins. So, here's a check-in. So this is where he's at, you know, we don't really have the best of lighting, but like he's coming along. Like I'm actually very surprised at how well this is working. So I would pastel him using these eyeshadows. Then it seemed to be going well. There's obviously like some spottiness of inconsistency, but I can't tell if that's from like the oils from my fingers or from the setting spray not laying well, or if it's just the eyeshadows itself. But it's going actually a lot better than I thought I would. I stayed true to the challenge by setting each layer with a makeup setting spray instead of a matte finish, because this is customizing a model horse with makeup and I wanted to use strictly makeup products, and I had to use the best. Well, I had to make use of the best of what I had. That's not right. So I only had to use what I had, which was, because I was using only what I had, I did have many challenges with this, but it's a challenge. You're customizing with something that's not used for customizing model horses, and that was a huge challenge in itself. Also, while filming this, I knew that it was going to be very clip heavy, so I did take out a lot of clips of just me pasteling a horse with makeup because it was very repetitive and it was so long. This horse took me about a week to do because it was all the layers of pasteling this horse with this one color to just build up enough color. And of course with the setting spray, it makes it look the color of what it looks like in the pan. But in order to get to that color, you have to keep putting on layers upon layers upon layers. To quote Shrek, it's an onion. Later on, when doing the last bit of detailing, I should have went in with his dark points to be black instead of brown, but that was a mistake I made in the early stages that I can't go back and change now. I have an update. I have to give mad props to people who customize on a daily basis and take on commissions, because this shit is hard. It's so time consuming and you have to make sure that everything is perfect, otherwise you have to start over. But I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep going. Also, this was a challenge in itself since I was working with such a small model. Mind you, it wasn't like a mini Winnie size or a stablemate. It was just a Schleich Haflinger that I had original plans to customize it, but then it fell off my shelf and it broke off some pieces of its tail that I had resculpted, and I had resculpted a new belly on him, but those fell off. So I was just like, let's use him for this video idea that I have. And it definitely worked better than my first attempt at customizing him, which I'm super happy about. I did many layers on him, and in total I had like over 2 hours of just raw footage that I condensed down into smaller chunks, so I'm very proud about that. It's just a lot of layers and raw footage of me just putting color on this horse, which gets repetitive so fast because it's not a tutorial, it's just me showing you that it can be done. And it can be done. Obviously this is a small horse, some of the angles are a little bit weird, but we'll work with it. I feel awkward filming in my car already. So I didn't have any white cream paints. I forgot to look for white makeup. I've kind of run into a little bit of a problem. I'm running into a bit of a problem with all the white marking. I'm running into more problems than I thought.